We're back. Episode
4.
We
Is
are
it?
on episode 4, yeah.
Okay. I believe you. I was there, right?
We've
For
actually
all the other
recorded. This is our
ones?
30th episode we
I
recorded.
I blacked out an entire episode, as we all know. So it's fine.
You really
I
did.
really
You
did.
were like, all right, for this
But I'm-
episode. What?
Sharon's lagging behind.
It's okay.
I'm
it's
back
fine.
now.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We were on a call, and you were like, all right, so when we do, I think it was my episode
Yeah, it was
or
your
whatever.
episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I
I'd
see.
gotten that morning, and I was,
hopefully you're better now.
I am better now.
Good.
Yeah.
She had some adverse reactions.
I
It's
had
okay.
slight
Flu-like
adverse
symptoms,
reactions.
the way that you do whenever.
Yeah,
The way
like
that you
Michael
do.
Jordan. Yeah.
What?
Oh, like when he played with the flu, like he had a flu game.
Did he?
It's like a famous
Oh,
playoff
I did
game
hear about this.
where he was like throwing up on the sideline, and
Yeah.
he was like,
Yeah.
I was not throwing-
Did
I
they
saw
win?
it.
Did they win?
oh yeah, and he played well. Yeah.
I love that I am in the same sort of vicinity
of
as
course.
the GOAT.
Yeah, you're.
Yeah.
The greatest of all
I
time.
think that's fair.
Yeah.
So, guys, like, what's going on? Peek in the pit of your weekend or your week. Who wants to start us off?
I had to think about what peak in the pit means.
Yeah.
Now I realize. Okay.
Your rose and your thorn.
I dig
I was
it.
whatever.
thinking
Your
of
wins or
like
challenges, I get it.
hit from like a fruit, so I
Me
was like
too.
peak. What
I
what
thought
does
you
that
said
All
mean?
right,
peach
we're
in a
really
pit.
Now I understand.
We're getting off topic, guys. Do you understand what I'm asking you?
Fine,
Doesn't
yes.
topic yet. Doesn't topic yet.
Yeah. Pause. No.
Yeah, the best part and the worst part.
Well, okay. Best part. Man, I got a lot done. I would say productivity. I think, writing wise, setting up for this wise. Still fostering my puppy until
Oh, he is
Love it.
so
We'll
cute.
see.
She is cute.
She yeah
She is
Yeah.
adorable.
Does she have a
Those
name yet?
pictures were-
Lola.
Lola,
So
great
we're-
one.
We named her. I think that was the first step of like might be keeping her. I don't know. We'll see.
I have
But
a feeling. I was
I
thinking
think-
that too. I was like, I don't want to say anything, but I think Lola's found her home.
Yeah.
everyone's been saying they're like, even the waiter at like a restaurant was like, I think we found a home. I'm like, we just met. Like, I don't. What are you talking?
You
about?
took the dog to the restaurant?
It was like
like an
outdoor, like
outdoor,
White Dog Cafe. Shout out to
Oh,
White
yeah.
Dog Cafe. Yeah,
We love White Dog Cafe. Have you been?
No,
They're great. Multiple locations.
I won walking distance in Ardmore. Yeah,
that's amazing.
Oh, yes,
it's,
you
um,
do. Hmm.
yeah, and it was really fun because it's like we were the only one with the dog outside, so we were the whole
Yeah.
show. But yeah, she was like, oh, I think she found a home, and I'm like, okay, nice to meet you.
You're like, do you know something I don't know? What's happening here?
Did you tell us, is the dog trained or no? Potty trained?
No, it's hard to tell if they've been at home. I feel like they have, but they're
Okay.
not fully potty trained or fully like trained. But like you can tell she's like she got sit immediately and was like
Oh, good.
she wants to do the
That's
right thing.
helpful.
She's just
Yeah.
7 months old or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
but yeah, that was the peak. I don't know if I have a pit. That's kind of depressing.
I mean, look, if you don't have a pit,
I mean, nobody's
even
gonna
better.
nobody's
what
gonna
really
dock
made
you.
you sad? What really hurt
What
you
really
this week?
sucked?
I don't know.
I got a flat tire.
I haven't slept well.
Oh.
I guess. Oh, flat tire is way
I mean,
worse
I
than not
haven't
sleeping
slept
well.
in like 6 years, so
Well,
Yeah.
Then every day that's our pit, I guess. But
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
yeah, yeah. I got a
That-
flat tire,
That
95.
sucks.
I took my mother.
Wait, when
to
was
tea.
this?
This was last weekend. Yeah, and I had just gotten my
That
car
stinks.
inspected, and they had plugged my tire or something else.
Oh.
I have really
Interesting.
bad luck when it comes to tires on my vehicles. I don't know what it is. I'm not
From this
purposely like
specific car?
driving through construction areas.
I was gonna say, so you had like a nail in it, and it eventually went flat, or it blew out.
So for this particular instance, I had a nail that got stuck in the tire. I had just gotten on 95 off of Ray Street, and my car gives me the signal, air pressure 31,
Sure.
21,
Oh God.
15, 12. I'm
That's
like,
helpful at
my
least.
God.
I mean, that's at least nice
no,
that
Yeah.
for sure.
But
absolutely. And
still nerve wracking.
in my mind, I'm like, I have to get off of the road because if, I could get into a massive accident on 95. We're going like 80
Yeah.
miles an
Oh
hour.
my God.
Right. And I had my mother in the car with me. Like
Oh.
I said, I had just taken her to tea, as you do. And
What's 2T?
to tea,
To
Like, is
tea.
there a place where like?
there's multiple places, like a tea house.
You go to-
where they
you
come
go
that's
to
not real.
afternoon tea.
different kinds. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I thought there's tea parties where you're at someone's
It-
house,
I
but
guess
I
it
didn't
is
know
kinda
there
like
was
a
a
tea
going out to tea. I didn't know that
Oh
was a thing.
yeah.
Yeah, you can go
To
out to
tea.
tea, and there are multiple.
I'm American,
How-
so I'm sorry. I don't know.
I guess it is.
Oh wow.
It is
No,
an
sorry,
English
sorry,
thing,
sorry,
right?
go on.
So anyway, so she's in the car with me. I'm panicking,
Uh-huh.
and I I'm on the phone with my husband because I'm like, do we have trouble?
Oh gosh.
We don't. The answer is no, we don't.
Well, now you know at least.
Oh,
But there was this, like, my knight in shining armor, this gentleman, a proper tow truck. pulled
Really?
up- yeah, pulled up. I mean, he must have seen me trying to, pull off to the side.
wow.
And he pulled up probably no more than like 3 minutes after I stopped. And he
You didn't call anybody? That was just
I
so
didn't even
happened.
have to call anyone.
That doesn't sound like bad luck to me.
Was that
I
is
never
Freight-
said it
is
was
F-
my pit. I just
That's-
said
Oh.
that I got
Well,
a flat tire.
It could very well be a pit. I would understand.
Yeah,
But
I
I
mean,
think
it
that's
wasn't a pit
amazing.
when I had
That's
to pay
Yeah.
for the new tire.
Oh,
That was
yeah.
a pit. That was pitiful.
oh, pitiful
Wow.
indeed.
But
Did you get 2 tires? They always say to get 2.
do they? Why?
Sorry, no, never mind. No, you're good. Your tire's
Oh,
great.
that's a whole other
No,
thing.
I only
Tire's
got the
great.
one.
That's for another
You didn't
podcast.
It'll
like-
be fine. That's what they tell you.
Fine.
Yeah, no, it was good. But yeah, I guess that was my peak and pit, right? Because
Well,
Uh huh.
that's
I
nice.
had to pay for the replacement, but what a peak that someone came
Mm-hmm.
to my aid.
Look at
without
you
my
in the
having to
reframe.
wait.
Yeah.
Look at you in the reframe.
Silver linings
I
all
had
the
that
way,
once
baby.
with an Uber driver where I was like about to get off on the exit like 1 minute from my destination and flat tire side of the road. And I'm thinking, well, I'm gonna be late. We're gonna be here all day. I'm gonna have to call another. Like, how am I gonna get out of here?
You were in
Uber
the
dri-
Uber.
Yeah, and the Uber driver is just like, whatever, get another Uber. I call another Uber. The Uber I called is already on the highway as I'm calling them. They were like 2 seconds away. And it was literally just like a boop, boop, pick me right back up. And I was just like, what are the They were literally like merging off the same. Anyway,
First
this
world
reminds me of, like,
benefits,
Totally.
Yeah.
right?
Totally.
this is how tough life can get, you know?
This
This is
It's hard out
the
there.
start.
It's hard. It is.
Yeah.
Can be.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It can be. Sharon, you?
So wait,
Go
so
on.
that is your peak and your pit all wrapped into one? Was
I
there
didn't
was
really-
there a
didn't really
peak?
get
I
one
had
either.
another moment.
I'd like to hear the other peak because
had
I mean I
another-
was just kidding about
That's
I
one of
have-
the worst peaks I've ever
everything
heard,
about
sorry.
flat tires.
That's so
suck.
sad. The whole thing
So
is not. Yeah.
yeah,
I guess you know what? I did have a peak.
Okay.
I'm gonna share another peak.
go for it.
A motherhood peak.
Mm.
My son on Wednesday, we are like trying to get out the door. I had to take both kids to daycare, and I had to drive up to my office. And we're already behind schedule, as we always are. We are
course.
never on time. I don't know what time is anymore. I'm just
It's a
always
construct.
It's beautiful.
late. And out of nowhere, my husband, my God, my son turns to me. He goes, "Mommy, I just want you to know that I was a gentleman this week." I was like, "What?"
How old is your son?
He's 6.5.
Oh my
my
gosh.
God.
So I was like, oh, "Tell me more."
Do tell.
Wow.
And he goes, so and so, told me the name of the girl at camp was having a hard time with her backpack. And I saw that she was having a hard time with her backpack. And so I asked her if she wanted me to carry it.
hmm
And I was like,
Wow.
and I'm like, did you ask permission?
Give
Did
me
you
that
ask her?
bag.
I'm like,
Yeah, yeah.
did you ask before you like touched her?
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean, sad.
I mean, did you? He goes, yeah, of course I did. And I was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm really proud of you, bud. He goes, thanks. So that was my peak.
you
That's
raised
big.
that
Yeah.
child right.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
wow.
he's doing good.
That's
I know.
lovely. See,
Mhm.
that's a peak.
Mhm.
6-year-olds thinking about
Mhm.
other people is crazy.
Oh, I had another pit I'm going to share.
Oh, bring it. Love this. Go on.
So I was working from home this week, and my setup at home, like my screens are higher up than they normally are at work.
Okay.
And my camera is also higher up. And I had to you have to really angle it downward in order for me to see. So you really only get to see like pretty much like from here to here.
Sure.
Like a
I
very
count on that every
small-
day.
That's the classic Zoom.
Yeah.
Yeah,
know,
like
I
a
count
small,
on
like
it.
frame from here to here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you seen that like meme on Instagram or whatever with because like the new IMAX thing with the Odyssey? People are like, oh, like this is my not IMAX Zoom, where it's like you get this much, and then like the IMAX version would be like
Would be that's
seeing
funny.
the fact
Oh,
that you're like
no.
not wearing pants or whatever.
That's
No,
funny.
Yeah,
no, I haven't.
But anyway,
but-
that's remind me. Of.
So anyway, so I'm getting on this phone call, and I'm like showing my screen. I'm presenting. And that morning, I had gotten up. I had gone for a run. I took a quick shower, so my hair was wet,
Mhm.
and I have very long hair. Like right now, it's curly, but my hair is wet and or drying, and it's straight. It's a lot of
I
hair.
believe
It's
you,
very
yeah.
long.
Yeah.
And it was one of the hottest days, and I had a tank top. Like it wasn't a spaghetti. It was a proper tank top, full straps. And I'm presenting, okay, my screen. And I didn't look at myself when I got on camera because I was just like, I need to hop in this meeting. I need this answer because I just, I'm like, you're moving and
You
you're
got
shaking,
stuff
you're
to do.
not paying attention.
Yeah.
And then I stopped sharing, and then I looked at myself for the first time since I'd hopped on this call, and with my hair in front of me, I looked naked, and I
Oh,
was
the
like,
way. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Oh no.
oh no, and I'm just
They make bad
rolling with
dreams
it
about
because
that.
what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do at this point?
But the thing is that
The conversation had finished.
yeah.
Yeah, it's over and done with.
It's over and done with, and we were just about to hop off the call. And
But you got to think about it. People watching, they're going to be like, "What's the most believable thing? That her shirt's hidden, or that?" You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to be like,
I'm
wonder
with
if
Jonathan on
I
that.
wonder if she's lost it. I want like
yeah,
they're not.
Well,
I wonder if she completely
Or-
doesn't care anymore.
Or maybe she needs to be fired. We don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
We don't
I
know.
was just like, don't fire me. It was
Oh
a
my gosh.
mistake.
Yeah.
I'm fully clothed. But anyway, like those are the sorts of things that like a woman has to be
Conscious of.
sensitive about,
Yeah.
Sure.
And there was definitely a level of embarrassment that I felt when I recognized how I had showed up to this,
Right.
to this meeting, because I was so focused on what I was supposed to be doing that I hadn't stopped to think about what I looked like,
Mm-hmm.
which again, like as a woman, I probably should have done that.
But
I didn't. I was just like, let's
I
just
think
get through
therein
this,
lies the
Or even
rub,
like
you know?
the standard of like, I feel like if a guy shows up on camera in like clearly pajamas, I mean, it depends on what you're working at, I guess. I feel like that's less like, oh, whatever, he's tired or whatever. But I feel like it is a different double standard.
Yeah, I don't know that I've ever actually had the thought if someone shows up in pajamas, I'm not going to be like, oh, he's tired. I'm going to be like,
Like,
sir,
Pick
where's
it,
your-
pick it up a
another
little bit.
t-shirt.
Yeah.
I've been in meetings where people dress pretty casually. So I'm not
Okay.
saying that we're
Yeah.
in pajamas, but like you wouldn't necessarily be wearing like a button
You're
up
not
in a
wearing.
meeting.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I
Okay.
mean? So it'd be like, but yeah, I'm sure there's like a double standard of like if a woman showed up more casual, I don't know, maybe people would be, oh god,
Well, it's what's
would be
interesting.
a little more like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't know, maybe that's not true.
No, I mean, but that's the thing. We don't know. And the problem
Right.
is not so much whether or not your colleagues noticed that you were naked on camera or not.
But I wasn't. Can we
Of
just
course you were not
specify
naked
I
on
was
camera.
not. I was full
Diana was
clothed.
not naked on camera. No, and I'm totally joking,
No, I
of course.
don't. I know I wasn't.
I'm totally joking. Of course you weren't naked.
Nobody noticed, and now
But-
everyone's gonna go be like,
I know.
wonder.
I
I
know.
wonder,
and
right.
Here's my
But
thing.
here-
I'm going to wear t-shirts every time.
But
I'm
I
moving
will tell
forward.
you, I
Sure,
will
sure.
tell you though, the thing about that's everything that you're saying is kind of the point I'm making is like, yes, you even said it, like I should be paying attention to this as
Yeah.
a woman.
mm-hmm.
It sucks that you have to,
Mhm.
number one. So let's like leave that for a sec. But also like because you don't know, the chances that somebody, like Jonathan said, like that somebody went to the conclusion of, oh, she wasn't wearing any clothes. Like that's not the case,
Mhm.
likely.
Yeah.
But you have to worry what if they did, because that it could have gone either way.
Mhm.
And so the likelihood that anyone is thinking twice about it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's this thing called the spotlight effect where, you walk into a bar and you think that like the music's stopping and everybody's turning around and looking at you when in fact nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
And so it's like there could be a little of that happening, but because there's that horrible thought of like, what if they thought that? And that's the story you're telling yourself. It could be, I get it. I get why that was
Well,
a bit.
there's a book that I had read last year that's very similar to that, but it's like a filmmaking perspective where it's like the psychology of storytelling, and it's about how like we think in stories, and in those stories we're the main characters. And like every day when you recount your day, when you think about what happened, like everything is through the lens of you being the protagonist. So it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, of course it's like everyone's looking at me, one at me, whatever. So, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
It's true.
So anyway, I'm going to tell you really quickly about my peach pit. What do we call it? The
Peach
the,
pit.
the peaks.
You're
At
peeking
first,
I
I
think
thought you
I
said
like
peach
peach
pit.
pit, though.
No, at first
I
you
like
said
that
Makes me
more.
think
You're-
of
I like
peach
it
pit.
That's
more.
what came back to mind. I couldn't remember what the word
I
was.
was thinking
Sorry.
like a hole in the ground, like dark pit, like that.
Yeah,
Or are you
These
thinking fruit?
variations.
the peach and the pit. So there's the
Yeah.
nice part and then the not so nice
Right,
part.
right.
Heretofore peach pit. Sorry. I'm going to start with my pit, which was getting this gosh darn vaccine, which is very important.
Really?
And people believe different things about it, but I personally believe that I'm really glad that I got the shingles vaccine because A, I'm over 50, and B, I don't want shingles.
No,
And I hear
yeah,
it's very
yeah.
effective. So
Mhm.
I got my second shot this last Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Should I have worked a full day and then some that
Mm.
day? Probably not. lesson learned. So the pit was that I wasn't feeling great. I mean, I managed it. It was fine. It could have been a lot worse. I thought it was going to be a lot worse.
Sure.
So that was the pit, probably. The peach or the peak
No peach. Yeah.
was like you, Jonathan. I got a lot done, surprisingly
Yeah.
so, considering I wasn't feeling great. Yesterday morning, I had I had stuff. I had, we had a meeting. I had my meditation group. I had work. I had notes I had to write, that kind of thing. Like I had stuff that I had to do, and in my mind, I was like, saddle up, sister, like you got to do this, and you're not feeling great, but you're going to do it. And that kind of like extended into the afternoon, and I officially have proclaimed myself a meditation recording artist because I made a video of a meditation that I did yesterday morning in my class
Yeah.
that, if I may say, sounded pretty okay.
Very good.
Good.
She gave me a sneak peek,
I
and I
did.
thought, wow, this is very cool.
I taught myself how to lay a track and whatnot. So I was very proud of that. I also hit 100 subscribers on my Substack,
That's a lot.
which I thought so too.
It
And
really
then
is, though.
then I
Yeah,
see
'cause
like
you've only been live, what, 2 months?
2 months-ish,
It's
yeah.
pretty good.
But
Truly.
that's like for anything, right? Like
Truly.
especially, I mean, obviously you have friends and family, but like, I'm thinking of like when people post YouTube videos or they're on Twitch or something, like 100's a pretty decent start.
Yeah.
I'm
That's not
pretty psyched
bad.
about it. I mean, then of course I see people with like thousands, which 1,000 is my next, like, let's go get them.
It's also
But
like uncommon though.
yeah,
know what I mean?
well,
Like-
that's true. That's
Like it's a
true.
great goal.
I'm
Like that's where
excited.
everyone wants to head towards. But like
Yeah.
that's thousands a lot.
And are all of the people who are reading my Substack the people that really should be reading my Substack? Meaning like that it speaks to them? I don't know, but they're there and they're reading, and so I'm pretty happy about that. So yeah, I had a couple of peaks/peaches. Yeah, so I'm pretty excited about it. Yeah, it was but yesterday, like I finished the day like spent. I was just like, I can't do anymore, but I did a lot and I was very happy. So it was a good day. Oh, I got a pop quiz for you guys. So I want to know, when was the last time that you said yes to something when it really should have been a no?
Yeah, 3 days ago.
I was gonna say that's
Didn't
quite
even
often.
stop.
3
That
days
wasn't
ago.
planned.
No? 3 days ago. Next question. No, just kidding.
That's all I got. We're done now.
Man.
3 hours ago.
So 3 days.
No.
Can you tell me a little bit about how you were feeling? Like, you don't have to share like what it was, but like how were you feeling when you said yes, but really
Yeah.
needed to know?
I mean, I think, and I don't know if you both share this, but sometimes we sort of like commit to things and we're in one mental mindset.
Right.
And then the time comes around and you're like, I wish I hadn't committed to that.
Oh, yeah.
So now I got to
Mhm.
do it.
I'm
You know what I
familiar
mean?
with that, with
Yeah.
that feeling.
It was one of those feelings where, but at the same time, I had promised something to someone of my time and my
Mhm.
attention, and I did it. And I ended up being glad that I did it. And
That's a whole
showed
other
up.
layer to it. You did. And that's a whole other layer to it. Sometimes it turns out all right.
Mhm.
Sometimes it can be really
yeah,
soul sucking, but
yeah,
Mhm.
okay.
draining.
Yeah.
I was
Thanks for
lucky it wasn't
answering.
draining.
Yeah, that's good. How about you, Jonathan?
So was the question again? Is it something I had to do, or is it more like invited? As like
Anything that you said yes to
said yes to? That's
that
all that
really
mattered?
should have been a no.
I mean, that's honestly stuff I put on myself more. I mean, I'm sure there's like when someone invites you somewhere or asks if you want to do something, yeah, but more recently it's probably more stuff I put on myself where like, I'm going to have this done by this day. I'm going to do this and this and this because before this happens, I want to do this because I won't be relaxed, yada, yada. And then I start doing it and like, I'm like, I am so far ahead. Like, why am I putting this pressure on myself? Why am I like, I don't know. Like even, with just my personal goals, I'm like, I got all this done last week. Like, can I get maybe a day where I'm just not
Yeah.
worried
So
about it,
amazing
focused
that
on it?
you're in
Yeah.
that sort of fight with yourself.
Yeah,
which
because
is
that you have no one
awesome.
else to like set the parameters, and so
Right,
you're
well-
both the person fighting the thing and putting the goal on yourself.
My
so
friend,
it's like,
I hate
which
to
one
tell
are
you, but it's not. It is you putting the parameters, but I think it's coming from another place, which
Ah.
we can get into
Okay.
at some point. But
yeah.
because I think that there's always somebody putting pressure
Sure.
on you, or
That's
telling
true.
you that you have to put that pressure on yourself, or it's something learned.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like a great kind of segue into what I'm going to talk about today, and that is the concept of doing too much. Really, concept of overfunctioning, the concept of just doing it all and sort of disappearing in the process. And that concept of overfunctioning, it's all that we're talking about, that saying yes when you really mean no, like that's a sign of it. That's a sign of like the beginning of for some, not for everybody, but for some people, that self-abandonment and letting go of who you are in favor of other people.
Yeah.
In your case, it's a little different because, you're at war with yourself again.
Yeah.
But
Oh no, I have moments, I'm sure, where it's that too, but yeah.
but it is about how you're showing up for everyone else, and sort of not even noticing that maybe you're not showing up for yourself as much as maybe you could be. So a lot of the work that I'm doing, and a lot of the people that I work with are going through this. I was going through this. I mean, I'll tell you a quick story. At one point I write about this on my Substack as well. If you haven't read it already, maybe you have. But, at one point I found myself in the grocery aisle after my marriage ended, in the grocery store in the peanut butter aisle. And I love chunky peanut butter, like have always. I love the texture. I love the crunch. It's just
Same.
delightful.
Interesting.
We could debate the brand another time, but at any rate,
It's like I don't like crunchy peanut butter.
that's fair, and that's you do you, boo.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like
Yeah,
that's
that's a
terrific.
whole nother podcast.
That's
a whole nother-
terrific. No, seriously, but it's about the peanut butter, but it's not about the peanut
Yeah,
butter
yeah,
as
yeah.
well, is how I put it. But so my ex-husband happened to love creamy peanut butter. He thought crunchy was gross. Okay, like, don't agree, but that is what it is. But because I did all the shopping, because I was the overfunctioner, newsflash and spoiler alert, I would always buy creamy, and I just sort of acquiesced, because in my mind it just made absolutely no sense to have 2 jars of peanut butter, which I could have done, but it's more money and it's this and that. And you know what, whatever, I'll just give up my crunchy peanut butter. And then after we split, I was in the grocery store, and this is a true story. I was sitting there and I just sort of instinctively reached for the creamy peanut butter. And I remember my hand sort of stopping in midair, and I was like, hold on. And I went over here. I'm like, crunchy peanut butter,
It's
please.
crunch time.
And yeah, it's crunch time
crunch
indeed.
time.
And so
That's our new slogan.
but to me, that was like a moment of like, oh my gosh, like there I
Yeah.
am. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that story has become very much a part of sort of what I, see in other people. I saw in myself in a lot of ways, that I disappeared. I just put myself aside for other people's wants and needs. So, I write a lot about this overfunctioning, how it happens, and I'm going to kind of take you through that little arc a little bit, and culminating in what we might be able to do about it, right? So what I'm writing now, obviously the book that I'm writing is called Better Than Being Alone ? And that everything that I'm writing now on my Substack, which sign up, and
I'm subscribed.
yeah, I
so.
love it. And
Yeah.
I'm everybody subscribe.
Mhm.
I am writing a lot of these kinds of concepts that will eventually form this book, which I'm pretty excited about. So, how does overfunctioning happen? How do you get to a place where you are putting everybody else's needs first and your needs last?
Mhm.
I will tell you this, it doesn't happen overtly with most women, and especially the women that I've worked with, and especially with me, even. It doesn't happen quickly. It happens over a lot of time. It starts small. It starts with like not getting crunchy peanut butter, and then it kind of blossoms into, well, we'll just watch that movie because I don't feel like fighting about it, or I don't maybe deserve to watch the movie that I want that they think is stupid, that kind of thing. So this comes from like a very deep place, and there's a lot that could go into it for different people. Sometimes it's an attachment thing. If people are kind of, don't have secure attachment, if attachment theory, and they are looking around for approval from everyone else, that could be part of it. People pleasing is a huge part of it. Really just getting your self-worth from the other people. And let me just say that I work with a lot of people pleasers, and I was amazing at people pleasing growing up and into my adult life, and even into my marriage, honestly. evolved and I was recovering a little and have been recovering, I guess. But, there are a lot of people I still work with that are in it. And it's really hard to see until you do see it, and then you can't unsee it,
Unsee it.
So like I said, it happens gradually. It happens over time, whether it's starting in childhood and going into your adulthood, or it starts in a relationship, maybe, you sort of start disappearing and the volume of what you need kind of turns down.
Yeah.
And it culminates, like I said, in doing it all, in, your mental load, you carrying everything for everyone. There's something out there called mankeeping. I don't know if I've mentioned that here. And
No.
mankeeping,
No, it's not.
essentially is, in today's world, men are less and less getting their emotional support from other men, from friends, from their networks. They are not necessarily, women get together and they'll talk about what's on their mind. Guys don't do that as much, and that's not a secret. I
Did
think
they ever?
that's right.
Is that
Yeah, what was
different
the what was the
from?
change?
Yeah.
So here's the change. The
Yeah.
change is that now they're getting it from their significant others, from the women in their lives.
Ah, good.
They're leaning on them for that emotional connection, and the women they don't have to, but they're giving it to them automatically.
So when you say that, is it like what's triggering the like? You know what? I need to talk to my partner or whatever. Am I like what's because
Safety, maybe?
yeah, like how come that didn't happen before? Now they're
Well,
doing that with them.
I can think of a couple of examples.
Yeah.
One of them, and it started this way, at least in my marriage, where his friends would start calling me to make plans with him.
Weird.
Oh,
because he just didn't really have that capacity to kind of like connect with them.
I wonder.
He connected with
socially
them
if
once
it's
they were
more-
out, but
It's like I feel like it's also more socially appropriate now to at least maybe to your spouse talk about feelings. I guess maybe that was not even a
Yeah.
possibility
Well,
20,
Jonathan,
30 years ago. I don't know.
as a male, let's
Yeah.
see.
Let-
You're
yep.
going through something. What is your gut? What does it tell you to do? Are you reaching first for your wife?
Man,
or
there's so
you-
many layers.
If you're
unfortunately,
and maybe you're not
No,
comfortable
no, no,
sharing
it's
that,
fine.
Whatever
that's
you're comfortable
okay,
but I think it's a mix of if you have a personality or history where you feel like you don't express your emotions, there's one layer, and then two, I think from a male perspective, I'm a little different in that I am pretty comfortable sharing what's on my mind.
Yeah,
I'm not a
that
very
is true.
like
Yeah, yep.
Personality.
Right,
like,
and it
you
is
have
different.
to be
I'm
okay
not-
with
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't want to generalize, of course,
course.
but
but I think a lot of men are not comfortable with expressing who they are. And I think they are worried about a potential label, even if the label doesn't matter. I think they're worried about someone putting them down or laughing at it, whatever it is. But I think for some reason, which is tough when you're an adult, because like that really shouldn't get you worked up, how people perceive you from like a toughness, whatever you want to call it, standpoint. But I think that's a big, it's a problem. But I think it's a big reason why it's like I'll keep it to myself. Don't need to make anyone think differently about me or whatever. So, but for me personally, yeah, I never really felt that. It'd be more from my introversion or my like, just I'm not someone who fortunately emotes enough, cries enough, that kind of stuff. So it's more like that world versus I think the male part of me, or maybe it is tied in. I don't know.
well, it could be. And honestly, this concept is so robust that it could have its own podcast episode. Honestly, I mean, there's this woman has done specific research on a certain sample of men who really lean on their partners for they kind of unload emotionally on their partners. Meanwhile, their partners are getting therapy or they're talking to friends or whatever. So it's not even a comment like this is bad, this is good. It's just sort of is. And it's like, oh, this is actually happening. And that ends up being part of that mental load that I'm talking about that women take on. And they do it without even realizing that it's happening. You know what I mean? It's like it's a silent kind of thing. So a lot that what ends up resulting is a lot of self-judgment. Why am I not doing more? Is my brunch spread as perfect as it should be? What are people going to say? Do I have enough Substack subscribers? Things that you start to judge yourself on. One of my clients said she was feeling tremendously guilty because she wasn't feeling well and skipped a volunteering commitment, and she was beating herself up. And I was like, you've got to take care of you. Like it shows up in those ways. Like it's really, it's amazing how deep it can get too. And so, once that happens, it's like a road to burnout, like complete and utter burnout, and it's silent. And we've talked about silent burnout before. It's
Yeah.
silent burnout.
And I'm imagining it's not always something you're like, I just got burnt out. Like I feel
Exactly.
like you're just you like almost need someone to be like, you're like cooked. Like you need. So like, yeah, I imagine it's not obvious in any
So,
way.
right. And so, but then there's typically, and in my experience, and also experience of people that I've seen that I work with, there's that moment where it does become like, oh, this is happening. And it's not necessarily as it's happening. Like you said, it's not like there's this indicator like, oh, burnout.
Yeah,
There's
this-
this
Yeah,
point
yeah,
This
one.
happened.
Like,
Yeah.
that's not happening.
Unless
But
you do hit a wall, right? Like
you
some
hit a
people
Yeah, of
wall.
course,
And
of
there's
course.
that moment when you hit a wall. And I've seen it a lot where it's like, sometimes it's happened actually in therapy, in my therapy sessions, or even in my coaching sessions, I'm like kind of like reflecting back to my client, and they're like, oh my God, I just realized that's what I'm doing. For me, it was this moment in the bathroom, and I was like cleaning up I think there were like hairs all over. It was silly. It's weird that this was the moment, but I was so angry because it had built up and built up and built up. I was angry just about everything. I mean, I can't even imagine what I was like to be around then, because, I was just angry and sad and frustrated. And then suddenly I just like sat up and I was like, what the hell is happening? I used to be fun. And now I'm just isolated and miserable all the time. Like, what is going on? And suddenly it was like a light bulb went off, and I was like,
Now, when
we
you
got to
said
look at
that,
this.
did you feel like that was a self-identifying thing, or do you feel like you noticed like people didn't find you as silly, fun, whatever? Like, is that?
You know what? Great
That's
question,
a really good
actually. Great
question.
question.
Yeah.
It was interesting because I had been working so hard. This was after COVID. I worked all through COVID from home, obviously. And I was working ridiculously long days at that time. My husband was going through some stuff and just wasn't. And I was doing everything. And I had isolated myself from my friends. So it wasn't even like anybody was around to tell me, hey,
Yeah.
you're being a real bitch.
Uh-huh,
Yeah.
Nobody did that, because I realized, like, I did not like the thoughts that were going through my head.
uh-huh.
I did not like what I was saying, how I was saying it.
Mhm.
I'm an empathic person. This was not who I am.
I can't even imagine a
Mm.
version of you that is not like strong and confident and fun and colorful and vibrant. Like I am like, who? It's like you're talking about a different person. So I mean, I believe you. I'm not saying you're like making
We
this up.
barely know
I
her.
But
appreciate that.
I'm
Yes.
just like, I can't even
I'll tell you
fathom
what.
that.
I'll tell you what. You're proving my point. Thank you, by the way.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. And I honestly feel like that's who I am. I am fun, and I am warm, and I am, on the outside, at least, I present confidently. On the inside, and this is what happens with not just me, but a lot of women, on the inside, they're falling apart. Like, they just don't feel like they have a foothold. Outside, they've got it all together. They are professionals, they are bosses, they are moms, they are, just ass kickers. Those are their roles that they know how to do inside and out. Their moms, their wives, they know how to do this.
And there's probably a survival element, right? Where it's
Yes.
like, what's my other option, right?
Yes. What's my, well,
Yeah, what do
it doesn't
you-
even occur to them to ask.
Right.
This is just their lot in life. But
Yeah.
then suddenly the roles that they are filling, like I said, career, mom, wife, even daughter, and we were talking about, aging parents earlier, like, making sure that you're doing everything for everyone else. That starts to separate from who you are inside. And when that separates, like, that's when, like, the alarms I wish they would sound, but they don't until you have that moment. And again, this isn't it's not the same for everybody. I certainly see differences in that and nuances in that in the work that I do, but I know that this happens to people and they don't know how to name it. And so what I want to do is try to name it for them and help them kind of weed through it. So, um, you know, I talk a lot about self-care, of course. I talk a lot about resilience. I talk a lot about, I call it putting yourself on the roster. So basically, you're making sure everybody on the team is lined up, and then suddenly you forget you're not even on the roster.
Yeah.
I love sports, so here we are.
Yeah.
And an
Michael
analogy.
Jordan.
Right. So, Michael, I don't want to be throwing up on the sidelines,
Yeah.
however.
He's really on the
On
roster.
the
He's
court side.
front center.
Yeah, he totally is. But yeah, I don't, I don't think that people realize exactly how easy it is to lose yourself when this is all happening. You hear about it in so many different self-help books and so many different arenas that, you hear it when you sit down on an airplane to go somewhere. They say, put your oxygen mask on first. Why do they say that? I think I've mentioned it even before. Because you can't help the person next to you if you can't breathe. You can't help your kid if you can't take in air and live. And it's such a good analogy. It's probably overplayed even, but it's such a good analogy to me about not suddenly making it all about you, not suddenly saying like, oh, well, no one else matters. This is like taking care of yourself and putting yourself first in the most unselfish way so that you can be there for everyone else. The best version of you. Um, you know, we choosing ourselves is, it seems like such a, like I said, like a selfish kind of like
Sure.
Yeah.
thing to do.
Feels
It's hard.
That's
guilty to
exactly
do
what
that.
it is.
You
It's
feel
like it
guilty
feels,
to do
yeah.
that.
It feels guilty to do that. But what if, you say you're one of those people, one of those people playing all those roles and feeling like you've disappeared. You're putting so much energy into being that mom, into being that wife, into making sure that everyone else is happy. What if you took that superpower, which is, I really believe that's what it is. It's this superpower to kind of keep it all outwardly up in the air and rolling and everything running along. What if you use that superpower for good and took that energy and put it towards you and balanced it out a little bit? Like, just take some of it and give it to yourself. And if we were to do that, and it sounds pie in the sky, and I know it's really hard. I know it's easy to say. I totally do. My middle name, as I tell my clients, I'm like, I am Sharon. Easier said than done. Like that's really, it is. It takes work, and it takes really thinking about things differently. If you redirect that over functioning superpower to yourself, like sky's the limit. It's like you just get to trust the process of choosing yourself and recognize that you're going to wake up in the morning feeling not drained, feeling like you do have a say, feeling like you can actually free some space in your mind to actually think about what you want. I used to be someone who had no idea because I was so worried about what my boyfriend wanted at the time, or what my parents wanted, or what my job wanted, and being everything to everyone.
Yeah.
I'm totally dating myself, but you ever hear of the movie Runaway Bride with Julia Roberts?
Love that movie.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to hear that,
Yep.
you
Yeah.
youngins.
Yep.
You know how she didn't know what eggs she wanted, how she liked her eggs. Like she
Mhm.
would just take on however her boyfriend at the
Yeah.
time liked the eggs. That may have been me
Yeah.
to a degree. Like somebody asked me where I wanted to eat, what I wanted to eat. Well, to this day, I still have that problem. But
That's
yeah,
that's a
it's a
tough
big
decision
question.
in general.
But it's a bad example.
That's too big of a
But
question.
really,
That's too
like,
much.
what if somebody said, what do you want? How do you want your life to look? Like, I never spent any time thinking about that. I was like, well, what does my boyfriend want? I'm in.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize it at the time until I look back now. I'm like, wow. And what I learned from that and taken from that, and even leading up to meeting my husband, I thought I had that licked. I thought I was like, oh, I'm good. I know what I want now. I even this is a story for another day, but even 2 days before I met him, I was like, I am ready to let that person in. I am ready to meet that person. I got this. I am feeling good in my skin. And then it kind of wasn't as good as I thought. But I learned from it, and it's like an evolution. You're growing.
Yeah.
So the thing to remember here, giving yourself that downtime, giving yourself that pause, or that allowance of, I can think about what I need first. That general self-care. I'll give you guys something I talk to my clients about in just a second, like a little tool that I have them use. But giving that to yourself, that moment to really think, do I want to say yes to this thing? Do I really need to be doing all of this stuff? That could be the difference between that burnout and really just kind of having that fuel to keep going. There is something I say to my clients, that are really just a little addicted to saying yes all the time because they feel like they have to cover it. And again, guilty as charged
No,
for a while.
same.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Is the no yes rule.
Oh, it's like anti-improv.
A little. I don't know what you mean by that,
Me
actually.
neither.
It's not really.
I'm lost in this. I don't know.
So you said no yet. I don't know. I
It
just think
is-
I think of improv as like yes, and then you build off of people in improv. It's always
Oh,
like whatever,
yes.
like and you build
then,
on
or
that.
yes,
or yes
and
and
yes,
or, yeah.
and
Yeah,
that's the improv
not the same,
thing.
but like it went to my head. I'm like,
I'm glad you shared because
Feels
I
like the
learned something
opposite of
today. Thank
improv.
you.
yeah,
No, I appreciate it.
don't do improv, but
Excuse me.
Clearly.
there you go. There you go. What's the script? What's the next?
Yeah.
But what not to do in a podcast.
Yeah.
Anyhow, the no yes rule is as follows.
Yes.
No.
Oh, okay. No.
The no yes rule is you are not allowed to say yes right away to anything. And it doesn't matter what it is. It could be plans for the weekend. It could be, do you want to go to lunch? Do you want to, I don't know, anything that comes to mind, I'm blanking, of course, but anything that somebody asks of you
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
that is outside of your normal realm of things that might set you up for I really wish I hadn't said yes to this.
Mm.
You're not going to catch it all the time,
Yeah.
but even taking 5 minutes saying, you know what, I'll get back to you in 5 minutes.
Mm.
And just taking a moment and say, how do I want to respond to this? Like, play it through as best you can.
Mhm.
Take an hour, take a day. You deserve that time. You're not, nobody's standing over there with like a stick telling you, I'm
Right.
going to smack you in the face if you don't say yes right away.
But see, I always think of the other side when I'm seeing people who are like can't do a plan or can't whatever. I'm always in my head like maybe it's the excuse they come up with. Maybe that's what sometimes bothers me. I'm always thinking, oh, I don't want them to think that I'm like making up an excuse or I don't like them and stuff like that. Because sometimes I'll be like, oh, they don't really want to hang out with us. They're not really sick or they're not really like, you know what I mean? And I sometimes that goes through my head sometimes when people
Because
are
you are a
canceling.
people pleaser as well.
So
that's
then
just it.
I feel like, yeah.
Ding,
so then
ding,
I
ding,
feel
ding,
like
ding,
if
ding,
I
ding.
do
You
the
hear
same
yourself,
thing,
right?
yeah, if I do the same thing, someone's gonna be like, "Oh my god, just tell me you don't want to hang out with me. Tell me you don't like me." And I'm like, "No, that's not really."
Tell me the story you're telling yourself, Jonathan.
Yeah,
Is that they don't want to hang out with you. That's a whole other story.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens is we tell ourselves a
Mhm.
story and we build off of that judgment.
mm-hmm.
And that's what's happening there. I don't want them to think.
Exactly.
Be you. I mean,
Yeah,
the fact is I think that, and this again, easier said than done, but I think that if you are you authentically, people are going to like you more
I have. Yeah,
than
Truth.
if you, I learned this. I know my clients have learned this. This is such a like fundamental thing. If you are you, which isn't always easy or doesn't roll off the tongue, I
Yeah.
get it. But if you think about acting more authentically towards yourself, taking care of yourself,
Mhm.
putting yourself on that roster, you might find that people are drawn to that
Mhm.
even
Mhm.
more. And the likelihood of them liking you less is less, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Mhm.
Actually, something I want to touch on, sort of
Yeah.
in that same realm, about showing up to relationships, whether they be romantic, friendships, even professional relationships, like as authentic as you possibly can. There are people that I know in my life that are actual chameleons. And what I mean by that is,
Mhm.
depending on where we are, with whom we are speaking with, they are just completely different human beings. And this is something that I don't know if this is, and I will admittedly say that this is the people that I'm thinking of that I have come across. The majority of them are women. And two women that I know, when they are actively dating, first dating someone, they change their personalities. They do research on things that this person that they're interested in likes, which if you're doing it from a place of I'm genuinely interested in this
Yeah.
versus needing to learn a
Dating's
sport.
hard though, because I get that
Or-
perspective.
Do you?
Not saying it's right, but I get the perspective of thinking, like first impression,
Right,
and
but
that makes
here's
you
the
act
thing,
differently.
Jonathan.
Yeah.
If I don't like
Michael Jordan.
Michael, no, 'cause I don't know. I have nothing
kidding.
against it.
We
Let's just
prob-
say
yeah.
basketball. If I don't like basketball,
Yeah.
I am not going to spend hours on a Friday night
And you shouldn't.
learning about basketball
Yeah.
Right.
just to be like, I want to make myself more appealing to this person. I'm
Did
not
you
doing that.
did you
No,
hear what
that's good.
Jonathan said though? Jonathan said you shouldn't.
Yeah.
But people
Well, I
think
thought you
they
said you
have to.
should.
No.
Oh, my mistake.
No, no,
I'm
no,
sorry.
no. You shouldn't, but I get the feeling, right? Like
No, but so
I
many people
totally
feel that they
empathize with that
should.
feeling of like, let me like not research, but like make the right first impression, especially if you really like the person. I'm not saying it's right, but I get that
Right.
fear.
I
I
think
guess.
it's a conditioning, if you
Yeah,
will.
yeah.
We have to put our best foot forward.
Yeah, but
Diana's
can't you?
noodling something
Yeah,
over
but
there.
can't you
Tell me
show
more.
up and provide a good first impression and not cater to what it is that I think you
Yeah.
want me to say?
No, I feel
Yes.
like you're
The
trying to do
answers
the
are
right thing.
I mean,
I'm thinking you're thinking of the
resounding yes.
correct answer.
And you're right. I mean, I'm not saying, and again, if the interest is genuine, like, oh, I don't know about,
Yeah,
I don't know, Ecuador.
yeah.
You love Ecuador. I'm gonna
Well,
Can't wait to
someone-
hear
I
what
don't
you
know,
came
very
up with. That
random.
was
I know.
awesome.
As someone who's
You know
married, I
what I'm
literally like I get it because it's like I never did that either. I never was trying to like, but I feel like I don't know. I guess I understand it because it's like it can be soul crushing, right? If you have any kind of love connection and you're just like, oh, that didn't work
And
out.
then it deflates.
So you kind of get
but
over
I mean, like,
over
it's like an irresponsible thing. I've always felt like it's
It
an
is, yeah.
irresponsible thing that they do, and I have said this to them, like, you don't do this unless you're going to follow through, unless you're going to go to
that's-
pick up, basketball games.
But
on
that's
a
the whole
Sunday
But then you're
morning.
changing yourself probably.
And then you're
from your actual self.
and
Yeah.
if it turns into like a genuine interest, God bless. Great. But then if you're going to be like, oh yeah, I know just enough to get through the first couple of dates, and then you
To
start to
survive.
show that, like,
Diana, it happens all the time. And I find myself in therapy, I'm not there to give advice. I'm there to sort of just hold space for who I'm talking to. In my coaching business, they hear from me. Like in my
Mhm,
coaching business,
mhm.
it's a little more when I'm coaching somebody, and we can get into the difference between coaching and therapy another time, but when I'm coaching somebody, I'm going to say, is this how you want to be? And hope that, and I say that in therapy too. How do you want to be? But it really becomes what are you doing this for?
mm-hmm.
And it's so common. I did it. I'm sitting here like I can't talk about
Oh,
this
yeah.
like it's not something that I fell prey to.
Yeah.
You want to be liked. You want to the people pleasers out there, the anxious attachment people out there, for whatever reason that came about, like you want approval from other people. You can't find it in yourself, so you look to others to get it. It's in there. And it's really about noticing what that is. And so what do you do? And to kind of like bring it back home with I talk a lot about choosing yourself. And when I say choosing yourself, it's not about like, well, I'm going to be authentically me, and if you don't like it, then F you.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
it's
fair,
not about that.
absolutely,
People
Yeah.
who are like, sorry,
To
I'm
be
blunt.
clear.
And I'm sorry
Right,
if that came
right.
across
That was
that
the-
way.
yeah.
'Cause I
Oh, no,
didn't-
you didn't. You didn't at all. And I want to make sure you know that. You didn't. It's more about just I want to make sure people listening know that it's not about, well, screw everyone else. I'm just going to take care of me. It's
Mhm.
about adding yourself in and giving yourself that moment to think, do I really want to be researching basketball on a Friday night
Right.
when,
There
to
should be
impress
no
a guy?
research involved, I'm going to say, for the most part.
Fair enough.
If I have to open a computer,
About right.
it's not going to work.
I mean,
don't know.
ideally, in an ideal world, Jonathan. But you know what? That's I think how people feel like if they aren't chosen by someone else,
Mhm.
then their self-worth is decimated.
Yeah.
But if you
Mhm.
choose yourself, you don't run into that. And it's
Yeah.
it's trite. I wish there was a different way to putting it, but choosing yourself, what do you do? How do you
Yeah.
do that?
And when the stakes are that high, like if you don't want to be lonely, right? Then the stakes are if I don't find this person,
Mm.
I'm lonely. So I get that.
There's so much more to
That's-
say
Yeah.
about
And there's like,
loneliness.
Right.
there's a certain level of compromise, we'll say, right,
Sure.
that we need to bring to the table if we're going to make relationships work,
Sure.
right? Like,
Yeah.
you gotta.
Yeah.
I completely agree. But I want to just sort of circle back really quickly. You said something that I've been sitting here like thinking about how, choosing ourselves and belonging to ourselves. And with women, and you know what, and I'm going to say this, but if you believe that this is true
Sure.
for men, like, by all means, please do chime in. But
Yeah.
as children, we belong to our parents, and then we belong to our peers, which we talked about a
Mhm.
little bit, because we do belong to our peers more than we even realize.
Yeah.
And then we belong to things that we're passionate about, like sports or extracurriculars, and we identify, we build personality types around these things.
Mm-hmm.
And then we belong, if we're dating, to whoever we are romantically.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you get married, you belong in a beautiful way, in
Mm-hmm.
some way, right? To your partner. And if you become a parent, you belong to your children.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel from my experience that, like, right now in this period of my life, I'm knocking on 40's door, that I have this opportunity, and I know enough about myself and about my limitations and life in general, that I'm like, okay, I need to belong to myself now.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't for years. Like I said, for almost 40 years, I've never belonged to just me.
And is it just that you haven't, or are you saying like now is when you're like, I
I'm
really want
actively
that?
choosing to belong to myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm still a mother, and I'm still a wife and a daughter and a friend and a professional. I show up for work every day, and I still belong to all those people, but I do belong to me, and
Mm.
I never did before.
I also think women, again, I'm only speaking from my perspective, tend to have all these roles added to their plate. I don't think men have a lot of expectations of having division between father, just yourself, brother, whatever, all these different roles, professional. I feel like they can kind of clump them in more. And society is just like, look at you. Like, it's just kind of like, you don't have the pressure of having to be kind of 95 different people. And I think that's part of the issue too, is like having to show, I think, not all the time, it's getting better, but like having to show up as a brother, as a father, as a professional. The stakes don't seem as high sometimes for men, where it's like, we'll get them next time, versus it does seem like, you have to be the single best mother in the world, the best perfect,
There's
whatever.
a lot of
Like, and there's
pressure.
a lot of them, a lot of those roles, those mini micro roles I'm seeing and sub roles that I'm like, I never even thought about that label,
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
having that many labels.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I
Uh,
think what you're speaking of, that choosing yourself or belonging to yourself now, what if you had just a little bit of that going through instead of like you belong to your parents and then suddenly you belong to other people all throughout? And I'm not saying it's not about going back and like reinventing yourself. That's actually a really big thing I want to put out there. It's not about like being someone you're not. It's about finding you or reclaiming, restoring
yeah.
who maybe you were before everyone else got a piece of you,
Mm,
you know? And it's like building yourself back to that in a way.
Mhm.
And it's again, it's different for everyone. You can't generalize this. Like what I'm speaking to a specific person
mhm.
who has really lost themselves and maybe had themselves before and lost themselves and now they're like finding it again. Regardless, it's about now in the present, and what you're saying is like I choose myself as well, or I belong a little bit to myself.
Mhm.
That's beautiful. Like that's what we aim for, and it's choosing yourself and then building from there,
Mhm.
building a life that includes you,
Yeah.
essentially. Oh, that's what
That's
it's
great.
about. Building a life that includes you.
Mhm.
And you've figured that out knocking on 40's door. I wish that some of my 20s and 30-year-old clients could figure that out now. I try to sort of show them that they either will or they won't.
But do
Even
you think that it's even possible to do that at that age? Have you
Yep.
lived
Mm.
enough?
I don't know
I think
the
about
answer to
that.
that
I
question.
think about that because,
Everyone's different, I'm sure.
yeah,
Yes.
that's true.
But
That's
With
true. You're
man,
when
right.
you can do that.
You're right.
I would love to do a segment one day on if 52-year-old me
Yeah.
came to visit 27-year-old me,
Mhm.
who at that time had just broken off an engagement that she knew wasn't right because she fell into this everything looks good on paper trap. And this guy was not
Mhm.
for her, meaning me. at 27. See what I did there?
Mhm.
There's also that part of like you did break off the engagement though,
I did do it.
which is extremely difficult even if everything's wrong.
Very
Oh,
brave.
So like that's not
it
For
didn't.
for
It's
a young woman at 27 years old, the fact that you were able to do that, not a lot of people say yes and they move forward because they're just too afraid. So kudos to you.
I mean that's the
Thank
whole
you. Well,
that's the
that's
whole
what I was
thing.
going for. No, it's not at all what I was going for. What I was thinking though is how scared I was. And I wish that 52-year-old me could go back there and just be like, "Hey, sis,
Mm.
like it's going to be all right. You
Yeah.
just have to trust yourself. It's good that you're doing this. It's good that you're strong." I was strong on the outside, certainly, but I was lonely on the inside. And I was like, well, what now? Because I had put everyone else first, even him,
Yeah.
And I continued to do that. I didn't learn the lesson
Mhm.
because I didn't have somebody saying, hey, think about it this way,
That's
you
why I
know?
think you can kind of have both with like, with what you're doing with your book and your Substack, I think is important that yes, some things you do need life lessons. You do need because people are gonna listen, they're gonna blah blah blah, but until they feel it, until it happens, it's hard to believe people, it feels like lecturing you sometimes. So I think you need both, and I think it's important that your book isn't just, um, here are all the great things you need to do to be a healthy person. It's like here are some exercise, here are some things to just think about,
Yeah,
right? And I think if you sprinkle them into your life, it's like especially at a young age, it just I think it'll make it easier versus having this perfect track on how to
exactly.
be healthy.
You just summed it up so beautifully, Jonathan. Thank you.
Hopefully.
And yeah, it's true. It's really true. And again, it's not about optimization. I'm not going to sit here and tell you like this is what you have to do. This is a tried and true method. No. It's about what works for you. It's about really looking inward and seeing what you want. And that works at 24, 27,
Yeah, that's true.
33,
Yes.
38, 42, whatever. So anyway, thanks for your questions, guys. It was really good.
No,
Yeah,
this was great.
thanks for
Yeah,
talking.
really informative, and also, I mean, we haven't really had a chance to go in depth as much as we wanted to with your stuff. So this has been really great.
I appreciate the opportunity. It was,
Yeah.
I could talk about it as the day is long. Go ahead.
Well, yeah. I mean, we clearly know you've been working on your book
Yeah,
and on your
that's true.
Substack.
She's been busy.
Yeah.
I've been busy.
What do we have
Yeah.
for next? Like, what are our goals
Mm.
going into next week,
Writing
writing
goals.
wise? Yeah. Are we plugging along with what we already did? Are we doing something different?
Yeah.
I have not written anything in like 3 weeks. I'm just been too busy.
It's the
That's
summer,
okay.
And I
Diana.
have
Like,
to,
Yeah.
there's only
So
so
the goal
many
the goal doesn't
hours.
have to be write X, Y, and Z. It could be
I know.
think about this character. You know what I mean? Like think
Mhm.
about this
Yeah.
plot point.
Yeah, I need to. I keep talking about Ascana like she's just like a. But I need to really sit down with her and have a conversation.
Yeah, let's be serious. Come on.
Let's be serious about
let's,
her.
let's talk about her.
No, not
No,
yet.
but even
No,
this is
I
good.
need
Like
some more
you
time.
thinking about,
You're right.
oh boy, what is she up to? Like that's helpful, right? I mean,
Yeah, because
Yeah.
she, sort of showed up in the story completely on accident. And now I need to. She's going to be such an instrumental part of Coralina's present,
yeah.
even though she's in the before timeline.
Mm-hmm.
That experience between Coralina and Oscana is really a pivotal moment for her. So,
Mhm.
she deserves some of my time, truly. And I'm
good.
going to give it to her.
She'll get it.
Look at it.
That's good. I can't wait to
Promise.
hear about her.
There you go.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I'm tightening up a lot of the language again in the prose of what I'm writing. A lot of it is I have everything I want, and the plot's there. It's exactly the story I wanted, but how nicely does it feel to read it? How does it feel? How does it sound? And reading something I've found feels different than saying it out loud.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, which is more important to me? Because it's very much a story that you're being passed down and told. So I kind of want a vocal, an oral, I don't know, poeticness to it as well, like something that sounds nice to say. So I'm working on that, and then just kind of plugging along until I hear back from agents because I don't want to tweak too much because it could be magic, it could be whatever, I don't know, but I feel like I need to trust it and not go too crazy fixing it up. So yeah,
Okay.
that's what I'm doing.
I like that. You're
Yeah.
going easy on yourself a little bit.
Yeah, I find that you got to be happy with what you have first before you think about, will the audience like it? Will the agent want it? Like,
Yeah.
because you'll be disappointed anyway then if it's not the
That's
story you
true.
wanted.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
We could translate that into life easily.
Right?
Oh well, hopefully I can. I'll work on that. Cool.
Me, I'm going to keep going. I'm just going to keep going. I have a laundry list of things that are running in the background that I'm going to be addressing.
Yeah.
Now that I'm a meditation recording artist, that I have self-dubbed myself.
Beautiful.
Self-dubbed myself. I'm gonna play with those new tools that I learned and do that, and yeah, keep building that sort of
Yeah,
robust.
you've got some good momentum, so keep
I
going.
got some good momentum.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's my plan.
Okay.
Beautiful.
All right.
I'll see you
Thanks
guys
for
next time.
listening. Bye.